This time we're in Shropshire, jumping back 200 years to the Industrial Revolution and to the home of this magnificent bridge, IronBridge. IronBridge gets its name from this iconic bridge. It was a world first when it was built in 1779, spanning the River Severn and the IronBridge Gorge. This area would have been full of factories and smoke and noise and grime 250 years ago. Today it's much more peaceful, and the many museums here help keep alive this historic period. We're just here for a weekend, so let's get on and explore everything you can do in this fascinating part of England. As well as the town itself, 10 museums are dotted around the area, and we'll cover all of these in our guide. IronBridge.org.uk will give you all the information about ticket prices for the 10 museums that are here in the gorge. They offer a one-year pass rather than a traditional day ticket, and we had a special offer of £20 instead of £27 booking online before we came, and that allows us to revisit if we wish any time within the next 12 months. The only caveat is that because of COVID at the moment, the blissed Victorian town needs to be pre-booked before you travel, and you get a time slot to visit that location, and we'll see that in the next video when we visit that tomorrow. Let's jump right back to a significant historical event some 311 years ago at Coalbrookdale Iron Works. The amazing buildings, the viaduct and the derelict structures around us are all part of Coalbrookdale Iron Works, and it was here that Abraham Darby I perfected the smelting process of iron ore in the early 1700s, and that really kick-started the iron industry in the UK, and it's probably why IronBridge is known as the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Inside the museum you can find out how iron is made and the significance of Coalbrookdale coal. Learn about the Darby family, the building of the first iron bridge in the world, and over 2 levels see beautiful exhibits of cast iron work and cookware, some from the Great Exhibition of 1881. This magnificent table, made entirely of cast iron and weighing 1600 weight, is the Deerhound Hall table. Designed by John Bell, it was made in 1855 for the Paris International Exhibition, and is testament to the skills of the Coalbrookdale Company. The building behind me protects what's left of the original blast furnace that Abraham Darby used to perfect the smelting process. Basically, he worked out that if he used coke coal, used locally, rather than charcoal, then he could actually mass produce iron ore much cheaper, and that really kick-started the industry. The old furnace was already 50 years old when Darby took it on. There is some contention over whether the date painted on the lintel is correct at 1638, with some believing it should be 1658. Sadly, you can't walk around inside at the moment due to COVID. The viaduct has 26 arches. Built in 1862, this would bring materials into Coalbrookdale, known as the Golden Mile because it was expensive to build. The iron tie bars were added later to hold the viaduct together as trains got heavier. Make sure you walk outside the museum gates under the viaduct and see the furnace pool. This provided water power to drive the furnace bellows and to turn machinery in the works. It's a very picturesque area. Just up the hill from the ironworks is Dale House, and this was built in 1777 for Abraham Darby I. And our Abraham Darby III, who built the Iron Bridge, inherited this at the age of 13 when his father died. and it overlooks the whole area and the furnace pool. And you can imagine what it must have been like looking out of the window at the age of 13, the belching black smoke, all the noise, and being overwhelmed with what he'd just inherited. But of course, we know he went on to be very successful. Rosehill House is next door to Dale House and was used by other members of the Darby family. And they're both Grade 2 listed buildings. Today, unfortunately, they're both closed. We can't go inside due to COVID-19 restrictions. But hopefully by the time you come and visit IronBridge, they'll be back open and you can tour around the properties and find out more about the Darby families. After a few hours exploring, you might like a drink and a snack, and the newly opened furnace kitchen is not a bad spot to rest. Before we leave Coalbrookdale, there is an interactive technology and design centre, currently closed probably because of COVID, more for children to get hands-on with the past, present and future. It's included in your ticket. Having ticked off the first 3 museums, it's time to head back into IronBridge to the Gorge Museum and stunning town. Now, tourism has been bad in 2020, and not just because of the global pandemic. Here at IronBridge Gorge, a double whammy of storms in February 2020 caused absolute carnage here, with flooding through the town. And the River Severn here rose by 6.8 metres. This is one of the 2 badly damaged museums in the flooding in 2020. The Museum of the Gorge portrays the history of IronBridge Gorge through the years, and the exhibitions inside are currently not available because of the damage. Normally you'd be able to see interactive screens and check out how the gorge evolved over the last couple of 100 years. But now at the moment all you can do is pick up some leaflets from the tourist information. There's a little shop there. Let's hope it opens soon. The area around the bridge on the River Severn was once called Coalbrookdale, but following the construction of the Iron Bridge in 1779 and as the town grew around it, it was renamed IronBridge. The gorge is in the heart of the Coalbrookdale coalfields and was rich in minerals, coal, iron ore, amongst other things. As iron ore production took off, the River Severn became an obstacle for moving materials and cast iron products from either side of the gorge. Up to that point, massive barges were used to ferry things across, but eventually this became untenable, so the construction of a bridge was agreed, and guess what? Our friends, the Darby family, were commissioned to build it. Abraham Darby III, to be exact. Right from the start, this bridge wasn't just going to be for moving goods and people from side to side. It was also a massive PR stunt for the Darby family to showcase what wrought iron could do and to hopefully sell it to the world. The bridge cost twice as much as originally thought, coming in at £6,000. Luckily for them, the bridge had a toll from the moment it opened and proved very popular, not just with locals, but even back then as a tourist attraction, with people coming from afar to see this spectacle of engineering. In just 12 short years, the cost of the bridge was repaid. In 1986, the IronBridge Gorge was one of the first locations to be designated a World Heritage Site within the UK, and has just gone through a massive conservation project and has been fully restored to its original red-brown colour. Parking in town is limited and can be pricey. Note as well, in summer the main road next to the river is closed weekends for pedestrians only. You can of course bypass the museum tickets and just spend a whole day walking around this lovely town. There are plenty of pubs and shops to keep you occupied, and in summer you can hire a canoe and float down the river under the bridge and beyond. Hotel Tontine, right next to the bridge, was built just 4 years after it opened to accommodate travellers and industrialists coming to the area. Extended in 1786, you can still see the difference in the brick colour on the right. There is still so much more to show you in part 2 of this ultimate guide to Ironbridge, including the very famous Coalport China factory and the Jackson Tile Company. And finally in part 3, our favourite and worthy of a whole episode, the Blist Hill Victorian town. Thank you for watching and happy travels from the Memory Seekers.